Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. As Thanksgiving approaches, there are still many local events going on in Berkshire County. This episode, I'll be talking about a stand-up comedy event at Mass MoCA, a music studio in North Adams that I haven't mentioned yet, and several concerts. Additionally, I'll be previewing both local and national Thanksgiving events. And even though Halloween has passed, I'll be concluding my Scream Binge-a-thon series with the 5th and 6th versions. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, when were the famed balloons introduced to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, we'll be visiting Mass MoCA in North Adams for a stand-up comedy event. With, quote, according to magazines, a streak of brazenness and her abrasive and likable at the same time, signature style, stand-up comedian Maddie Weiner will be performing. She made her Tonight Show debut in fall of 2024. Since then, she's been recognized as a new face at the Just for Laughs Festival and has filmed stand-up sets for Comedy Central and Don't Tell Comedy. Now she brings her sharp wit and irreverent humor to Mass MoCA's Club B10. Maddie has appeared on You Up with Nikki Glazer on Sirius XM Radio and was a semifinalist for Stand Up NBC. On the road, she has opened for comedy heavyweights such as David Attell, Robert Kelly, Anthony Zalesnik, Joe List, and Mark Maron, and has performed at NACA Nationals along with headlining colleges across the U.S. Maddie Weiner will be performing on November 22nd at 8 o'clock p.m. This stand-up show is for mature audiences only. For more information, visit Mass MoCA's website shown here. We will be staying in North Adams for our next stop, and we'll be visiting a place that hasn't been discussed yet on WWHEN. Studio 9 is a recording studio that doubles as a concert venue. According to their website, quote, Studio 9 is at the core of the Fresh Grass Institute, an intimate state-of-the-art recording studio and performance venue located in North Adams in the heart of the Berkshire Mountains and operated by the Fresh Grass Foundation. The unique building was designed and built from the ground up with music and sustainability in mind, end quote. As for the concerts themselves, the first will be Omar Sosa and Cuarto Americanos. This is the first U.S.-based jazz ensemble of Sosa's since the 1990s, featuring drummer Josh Jones, bassist Ernesto Mazar Quindelan, and saxophonist, clarinet, and flute player Sheldon Brown. The group came together in 2021 when Omar was in the Bay Area for several live streaming events. Connecting with Josh and Sheldon was a gratifying reunion for Omar, as he played with them extensively during his early days in San Francisco and Oakland in the late 1990s. This concert is scheduled for November 12th. The concert is at 7 o'clock p.m., doors open at 6:30. The other Studio 9 concert is Chris Delmhorst. Chris Delmhorst is an American songwriter, singer, instrumentalist, and producer. Over more than 25 years as an independent artist, she has built a body of work characterized by a wide-ranging, genre-agnostic curiosity and constant collaboration. In addition to 9 critically acclaimed studio albums, she's written music for films and TV, produced albums for Session Americana and Jeremy Moses Curtis, contributed instrumentation and vocals to scores of other artists' work, and performed thousands of shows across the U.S. and Europe. Her concert is scheduled for November 19th. The concert starts at 4 p.m., while doors open at 3:30. Studio 9 is located on 18 Vesey Street in North Adams. For more information, visit the website shown here. Even though the temperatures are dropping, outdoor activities still happen in the fall. Our next story takes us to one such location. Berkshire Botanical Gardens in Stockbridge for an art display. According to Berkshire Botanical Gardens website, quote, "Join us for a special exhibition tour and artist talk with Robin Crofut Brittingham on the final weekend of her exhibition, Flock, on November 29th, Saturday, at 2 p.m. in the Lowenhart Gallery." Robin Crofut Brittingham is a visual artist and writer whose work explores the intersection of real and imagined worlds, inspired by nature. Primarily a painter, her multidisciplinary practice is unified by a deep interest in deepening our connection to the natural world and encouraging close observation of its beauty and complexity, end quote. This exhibit features all the new illustrations from her new book, The Illuminated Book of Birds. Over 300 painted birds from around the world, alongside a selection of works from her ongoing fine art practice. During the tour, Crowfoot Brittingham will offer insight into her creative process, the evolution of the book, and the interplay between research, storytelling, and artistic imagination. This is a unique opportunity to hear directly from the artist and experience the original artworks that bring the illuminated Book of Birds to life. This event is scheduled to take place on November 29th at 2 p.m. For more information, visit the website shown here. For our next event, we will be visiting the Colonial Theater for a concert with Harvest and Rust. This is a popular event that has been mentioned several times in the past here on WWHEN. Western Massachusetts' very own Harvest and Rust returns to the Colonial Theater in Pittsfield for a special tribute concert celebrating Neil Young's 80th birthday. This homecoming performance, titled 80 Years of Neil, promises a dynamic set list spanning Young's expansive catalog. From the acoustic intimacy of Harvest to the raw energy of Rust Never Sleeps. Led by frontman Gary Lachowski, the band features Matt Cahill on guitars and piano, Andy Gordon on pedal steel, John Kiernan on drums, and Jim Reynolds on bass. Known for their authentic renditions, Harvest and Rust captures the essence of Neil Young's music, delivering both beloved hits and deep cuts with precision and passion. This concert is scheduled for November 22nd. It will happen at 7:30 p.m. For more information, visit the website shown here. Up next, we will be visiting the Clark Art Institute in Williamstown for a brand new exhibit. For the past decade, Rafael della Olga has made unique artist books using modified typewriters and multicolor ink ribbons on a range of materials, from tracing paper to photo paper to sandpaper. Della Olga worked briefly as an attorney before becoming an artist. Now, seeking refuge from the limitations of language, she grinds down the characters on her machines and communicates through form, color, texture, and rhythm. Della Olga plays her typewriters like instruments, following a script in some cases and improvising freely in others. Each of Della Olga's artist books explores a different conceptual or technical idea and is titled with a sequential number preceded by the letter T. This T stands for tapu script, French for typescript, a now uncommon term for an author's original typewrite text. Like that word, Della Olga's work joins the mechanical with the manual, expressing gesture through the machine. He drags and smears her ink and inserts textiles into the typewriter carriage, conveying their texture as text. Weaving and typewriting are linked by the up, down, side to side directional ways of the grid, a structure that Della Olga both studies and subverts. This exhibit began on November 22nd. For more information, visit the website shown here at clarkart.edu. On the last episode of WWHEN, I discussed how holiday markets and bazaars were going on. I missed a couple of them, but there's still time to mention them. First is the one at Greylock Works in North Adams, an oasis for sparkling collaboration and innovation. Greylock Works is reviving a 2400 cotton spinning mill in the Berkshires. The stunning campus hosts a restaurant serving up thoughtful, inspiring food, a co-work community with private studios and hot desk space, a culinary lab, a craft distillery, and the Berkshire Cider Project. This is located at 508 State Road in North Adams and will take place from 9 to 4 on November 22nd. Our other one takes place at Wahconah High School. The fair will take place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., also on Saturday, November 22nd at the school, located at 150 Old Windsor Road. Booth space is 10 inches by 10 inches, feet. Vendors must provide their own tables. Chairs and limited electrical hookups will be available. Vendors are asked to donate at least one item valued at $15 or more at the raffle table. Note that this will take place the same day as the St. Agnes Bazaar, which I talked about the last episode and happens from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Clearly, November 22nd is an exciting time for bazaars. For more information on any holiday bazaar, visit their respective websites. Thanksgiving is approaching, and both locally and nationally, there will be a lot of events going on. Here's a preview. Hancock Shaker Village provides the first two events. First on Thanksgiving will be Thanksgiving on the Farm event. Immerse yourself in a beautiful environment. breathe in the crisp autumn air, take in stunning Berkshire vistas, and enjoy the historic buildings and sacred collection, and stroll through the village. This takes place November 28th through the 30th. On November 28th will be the Turkey Walk and Talk. Gobble up nature and escape the hectic pace of Black Friday with a peaceful guided walk on the 1-mile farm and forest trail. This walk ends in the barnyard where you can say hello to the farm animals. This will be held on November 28th. Both events will be all-day events. On a national level, one of the most popular Thanksgiving Day events is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This event, filled with balloons, bands, artists, and more, takes place every year in the streets of New York City. This year marks the 99th time it's been held. Some years were canceled because of World War II and the pandemic. It will air on Thursday, November 27th from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. and show on NBC while streaming on Peacock. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade also provides the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, when were the famed balloons introduced to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? The answer is 1927. The balloons were introduced in 1927, replacing live zoo animals that were featured in the first parade. In 1928, Macy's switched from inflating the balloons with air to helium, making them float. Tony Sards helped produce the original parade and helped bring the balloons to them. Another popular event for Thanksgiving is NFL football games. This is a tradition both for the country and here on WWHEN. As usual, there are 3 of them on TV. There is also a Black Friday game, but that is streaming exclusive. And WWHEN does not support streaming exclusive. First, at 1 p.m., the Green Bay Packers will square off against the Detroit Lions on Fox. Then at 4:30 p.m., the Kansas City Chiefs will face the Dallas Cowboys on CBS. Finally, at 8:20 p.m., the Cincinnati Bengals will go head-to-head with the Baltimore Ravens on NBC. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. This episode will be concluding our Scream Binge-a-thon series. We'll be reviewing the latest 2 Scream films. The 5th Scream film, which, interestingly, is not called Scream 5, but rather just plain old Scream, was released in 2022, 11 years after Scream 4. While this film does feature the power trio of Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, and Dewey Riley, there is more of a focus of a new set of high school students when a different ghost face attacks. In particular, we focus on the Carpenter family and two sisters, Sam and Tara, one of whom has connections to the previous Scream films. Scream 6 was released the next year. Now the core 4 new characters from the 5th movie have moved from Woodsboro to New York City in the hopes of rebuilding their lives. But when another ghost face attack strikes, the characters are once again forced to deal with the consequences. So, what did I think about these two films? Again, like Scream 4, the 5th Scream waited 11 years to be released. This was due to 3 factors in particular: the passing of previous Scream director Wes Craven, the fall of the disgraced Weinstein producers, and the COVID pandemic. Much like the 4th film, however, the delay worked in its favor. The film is allowed to reference other, newer horror franchises, but also stay true to its roots. The kills, when they happen, are more vicious and violent than ever before. The one thing I was conflicted about with this movie is the new characters. I don't think they're as strong as the original Power Trio, but they're likable nonetheless. Scream 3 works as well, although just a hair less so. One of the best things this movie did was changing the location. It took 6 movies, but moving the setting to New York City allowed for more creative and tense scenes. A scene in the Core 4's apartment and another one in the subway rank as some of the most tense in the franchise. The references to other Scream movies are great fun as well. It made this 6-movie binge all worth it in the end. There's even a twisted shrine to all the previous ghost faces. What brings this movie slightly down is the ghost face reveal. It does not work for me and leaves more questions than answers. For these 2 movies, Scream 5 is better, with a slim score margin of 8.4 to 8. Next year, Scream 7 is set to hit theaters on February 27th, and the trailer was released appropriately on Halloween 2025, so stay tuned. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website, shown here, or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.